Oh, welcome back. I thought to show you a few problems I've had with the kit car again. The main one is I'm having trouble bleeding the brakes. I did try to bleed the master cylinder on the bench. Best thing to do, I'll just show you. Let's turn the camera around the other way. Yeah, I did try to bleed it on the bench, but what I did, I had some not solid pipes, so I couldn't actually see the bubbles going up in it. So this time what I've done, I put a bit of plastic. I pinched some of the, I replaced it again there, but the windscreen washer hose, a pipe. That's a bit of old brake pipe, and it's by bolting it on the car, it's easier to, easier to manage, and I can actually see the bubbles coming out, and also I can use the foot pedal. So I'm pretty confident I've got the air out of it now. So hopefully tomorrow I might stand a bit of a fighting chance actually trying to get everything to bleed, because I was having nothing before. So definitely 100% all the air's out of it, and there was quite a lot of air in there. So tomorrow is sort of D-Day, so let's wait. Right, well, yeah, I might as well give you a quick tour of what I've done so far. Again, um, rocker box cover is actually on there. I've ordered the gasket, and as it happens, I ordered the wrong one, so I had to order another one. So that's all done now. I didn't use any silicone sealant or anything like that. I just used grease. I thought, well, in my experience, I think grease works so much better than silicone. And plus, if you get nervous with the silicone, it goes into the engine, so really don't want that. So that's all done. Change the oil filter. That's we'll just wait to go now. I haven't got any oil in a minute. I'll show you why. The engine breather, which I don't even remember. I don't know if I can see that or not. Hang on, let me put my glasses on. I might better see what I'm doing. That's better. The engine breather there coming out of the block was actually just a little bit of pipe, and it actually exited right over the start motor. So what I've done, I had some alley and I made a little box up, and I've got a little tiny lathe in there, so I machined some fittings for it. There is a drain on the bottom, and luckily there's a guy down the road down the farm, he does alley welding, so he welded it out for me, so that's looking pretty good now. So it didn't really cost me a great deal of money. So like I say, the alley was left over, and the breather was, I think it's about £6 off Fleabay. So that's that bit all done. Oh, now for a little bit of bad news I had. I was on the car draining the oil, and this is the sump plug and the washer that was on it. I think it was a Doughty seal, which is like obviously a washer with a rubber inside. But that's the bolt that come out. Don't know if you can see it or not. Anyway, I checked the bolt out, and it was actually 1/2 inch UNF. It's not going to focus. It did focus before, decided not to now. Did it focus? Yeah. So that was the bolt that was in it, and I went to put a spanner on it. It's actually finger tight, and it wouldn't do up. And so that's been leaking for quite a while. Let's go into the car and I'll show you. Right, that's the drain plug that's in there now. What I did before I realised the drain plug is actually M14, like fine pitch, I actually managed to re-tap the hole out a little bit more, because the bolt was in, it's only going in a short way. And so what I've done this time, I've tapped it out the 4-way. I used 1/2 inch UNF tap, and I put a bit of grease on it so all the filings wouldn't actually go into the sump, hopefully. And the only 1/2 inch UNF bolt I had was a chrome, I don't know, it's not Capit, it's I forgot what they're called now. Anyway, one of them. I used some Haldite on the threads, and I've got a copper washer on there, and it actually nipped up nice and tight. So hopefully that's going to sort the problem out. Next problem I had was on the other side. Let me go and show you. Right, next problem is this plate. Now it looks a right mess at the moment, but what it was, I thought that was the drain, and I took off the 4 bolts. There's a massive great bit. It looks like someone's hit something. There's actually a hole in there. I wish I'd taken some pictures of it before. And what they've done, they've actually got a square plate, drilled and tapped it, and they put like a cork gasket on it. But it was actually leaking. And the problem, let's get a bit more. The problem I had was with that one there. Oh, it's still wet. That one there, the thread had gone on it. So what they use is a 6mm tap. They should have used something like a fine thread. And luckily, what I managed to do is get a 1/4 UNF tap and tap it out, because I had a UNF tap and got a UNF bolt in that one, so that's an odd bolt. Now what I did again, when that was off, I used a file and some emery, and I've filed it, try and get a nice flat surface on there. This side there has only really got about a 1/16. The other three sides are okay. So what I've done, I use a paper gasket, I use some Haldite, and I put, obviously tightened it. Well, I put Haldite on both surfaces, on the alley and the paper, then the plate. Then it's tightened up. Now that mess that's on there at the moment, which I don't really like doing, is actually JB Weld. I put one coat on it earlier on. That's the second coat. It looks a right old mess. You can see it was still a bit wet. I was just worried about it leaking. It definitely won't leak now. I just want to put another little tiny bit around these bolts, so when it dries I'll just get my finger around there and just put a little bit more around. So I'm glad I went underneath and looked at it now, because there must have been leaking oil for a long time. There you can see there the gearbox, that's soaking wet. So that's pretty much. So well,